Hey everybody! Today we're talking about closing the gap and building sanctuaries. My name is Briar Harvey. This is Ask Briar, and it's Ask Briar. Yay! So today, okay, let me find my list because this is how well prepared I am today. List. Wonderful. The question I was asked, because somebody actually watched something that I made last week and talked about. Okay, so my new spiel, it's all the P's, right? We have prospects and we have products. So someone asked me how we shorten the gap between our prospects and our products. And this is a great question. And I want to start it with an anecdote. I'm sure most of you know who Dan Henry is. Fewer of you probably know who Jim Gaffney is, but he is a friend of mine here on Facebook. He is a branding guy. I love and adore the dude. And he got into a spat, I don't know, 2-3 months back with Dan Henry. So it was kind of public. It was kind of weird. It was wholly amusing. It was the kind of non-essential drama that I basically live for, if I'm being perfectly honest. Like, I have subreddits and Facebook groups devoted to snarking on random business drama. So this was really nothing new, and I was enjoying the upfront view of the business spat, such as it was. I couldn't even tell you specifics at this point in time because they all kind of bleed together, because this is the way with all such internet marketing, business, influencer, like all these spats. They're all the same, right? We're all just fish in the pond, trying to take a bigger piece of the pond and doing the thing. So they got into an argument about something, and Dan Henry had a book at the time, and he was using it as the top of his funnel, right? So a popular thing that we do right now is we offer a book for free with shipping. So we buy a bunch of the book. We're going to sell it on Amazon later, probably with the unlimited, it's a lead magnet. Books like this are designed to be lead magnets. So Dan Henry had this book. And because of the spat, not because I was actually interested in the book, because of the spat, I took a look at the lead magnet, or I clicked through. Oh God, this was my mistake. This was my mistake. Because ever since then, I have been followed around the internet by Dan Henry's retargeting pixel asking why I haven't purchased his book. Now, here's the great irony. It is, in fact, a Kindle Unlimited. And so I've at least downloaded and skimmed it. Or I paid $1 for it. I can't remember. It's been months now. The point is, I've read the book, and I'm still being retargeted by Dan Henry's pixel for a book that I have grudgingly read and didn't like. Which, at this point in time, pretty much just makes me hate Dan Henry. Like, I didn't have feelings about him one way or the other before, but now I'm really mad about the fact that he can't even get his targeting right. His audience doesn't know. I am a member of his audience by now. I have technically spent money on him. Whether that was directly or indirectly is irrelevant. I have entered his funnel. As a member of his audience, he doesn't know where I am in his funnel. And this is often the case once we get to millions of dollars. And that's fine, except for the part where I'm pretty much actively hating his guts, and I can't get rid of this targeting pixel. It's a targeting pixel. I can unsubscribe from emails. I can remove you from my Facebook feed. I cannot stop your pixel from following me around the internet. And this is when we talk about building funnels. This is one of the things that we are super guilty of using is aggressive, I would say aggressive advertising. So when we're generating our prospect gathering, I think it's really important to remember how we are interacting with the members of our audience. If I am a member of Dan Henry's audience, man, that sucks to be Dan Henry. How many of his active members dislike the work that he's doing? How many people does he have to get into the funnel that are new because they're not going to stick around? I read some numbers today from Andre Chaperon, who has several really great courses. One of them is called Autoresponder Madness. And he quoted a study today that said something like 20% of your customers come within the first 90 days. The remaining 80% come within the next 18 months. Now, I have no idea. I didn't click through. I was busy to see industry standards here. So I have no idea if that's overall, if we're talking specifically what we're talking, because that feels pretty significant to me, that if we're talking about business overall, 80% of our customers come to us after they've gotten to know us, right? So we've spent 3 months building a funnel or designing a thing to shorten the gap. And yet the people who come back and spend money repeatedly over time don't do it within those first 90 days. They do it after that. It's long-term relationship building. And that's really when we get to shortening the gap, the best ways to do that. It really doesn't matter how you bring your prospects in. There are so many ways to do it, and you're paying for it no matter what you do. Organic traffic is arguably free, but only arguably. You're either putting in time, you're putting in probably heap loads of time. You're putting in time cultivating relationships. You're putting in the time to build out your network. Organic is not free. So if all of your prospects have to come from somewhere and you have to generate that traffic from somewhere, then all of those prospects are, for better or worse, essentially paid. The metric you're using to figure that out, that might vary. But if all of those prospects are paid and we're trying to lead them into our paid product, then the ways in which we're doing that have to be about the relationship that we're cultivating, especially if we're cultivating a relationship to last longer than 90 days. So let's talk about a couple of the ways that I have found in designing organic funnels to be most effective. Number one, and this is going to be the biggest, and this is true for pretty much everyone I'm talking to right now. You have to be transparent about your business practices and about your personal beliefs. As I wrote earlier this morning, not making a statement about politics is just as good as making a statement about politics. If you're not going to make a statement, then I know where you stand. So I would rather hear explicitly where you stand. I don't want to have to make assumptions, and I'm not going to do business with you if I have to make assumptions. So regardless of where you stand. You are cultivating your larger audience. And I think this is true for big and small business. Should we actively talk about politics? Yeah, probably not. I think you have to decide where your own personal line is on that, and it works for you or it doesn't work for you. But should you be transparent about what your beliefs are, who you support, where you stand? Yeah, absolutely. I think that you should. Should you be transparent about your business practices, how you do the work, what you're looking to do, what you're looking to build, what you're looking to cultivate? Yes. And the more explicit you are about those things, the easier it is for people to see the work that you do and how they can benefit from it. So in coaching in particular, I would say a big part of the process is to guide someone to an offer through a webinar or a sales call, right? And they don't really get to understand what the offer is before we get to those points. And sometimes we can watch a really long webinar and still not really understand what the offer is. Ultimately, I find this to be counterproductive to building the relationships that we want to cultivate long term. So if we're clear then about what specifically our business practices are, how we go about doing business, who we're trying to cultivate relationships with, then those people are more likely to come in and join us. Eleanor Strong, who is here on Facebook, does a lot of work around organic marketing for your Facebook feed. And she's really, really, really good at it. It's gotten wonderful results for her and for her clients. And her practice is largely describing her practice. She walks you through exactly how she's creating content, what is working for her clients, what's working for her, knowing full well that if you actually want to benefit from her expertise, you will in fact pay her fee. And that is how she shortens the gap by being transparent around her practices. All right, let's take a look at another example. If we want to shorten the gap between prospect and purchaser, especially if we're selling something that is lower ticket, something that we can do often is be of genuine service. So this is not participating in other people's Facebook groups. This is figuring out a way to build out your content, particularly in ways that can be beneficial to other people. For me, that's this right here. I love my show. It's twice a week. I get to come and I get to answer questions that people have asked me, and it's fabulous. It's something then that I can take and turn into other content. Eventually, I'm going to be spinning it into shorter blog posts and content posts. And I have been offered potentially a radio show to go along with this that would not be live, but that would be an hour long that I'd be able to do a deep dive in. So when you are offering something of genuine service, this is me answering questions because I like to answer people's questions. It's just fun for me. I'm bossy by practice. It's fine. Then you can turn that thing into something that people continue to come back for. If you have, let's say, a physical product line, say you have, I have a friend who sells CBD products, right? So she is working on developing a series where she talks about all of the ways that CBD can be used to alleviate pain. Will that increase her bottom line? Absolutely it will. Will it also help her clients and customers to figure out ways to eliminate their pain? Yes, it will. So any way that you can wrap your content or your offerings, your earliest offerings or low ticket offers, to be of genuine service in ways that will bring people in and keep them coming back over and over and over again is fantastic. Finally, and I say this with as a person who likes presents, buying presents is remarkable. I got this advice many years ago from Naomi Dunford, and I still to this day find it to be an incredibly effective tactic. You want to shorten the gap for your customers between prospect and buying your thing. Give them something, and give them something of actual value. Recently I put together my pitch list, and I've been working on that damn thing for like 10 years. It's an actual thing that I've put a lot of effort and energy into. So when I offered it to people out of genuine, here, have this thing, many of them actually turned around and bought a thing for money after I sold it. See how that works? So give presents. If you are high ticket, small presents for people who have purchased service packages is a great way to get them to come back. When I am working with someone long term, I always send Christmas or holiday presents. If I am working with someone on a contract basis month to month, every couple of months I'll send them like a book or a journal or a little potted plant or something, so that they think about me every time they look at the thing, right? That's the goal of presents. They're altruistic-ish. You're giving someone something in a way that makes them remember who you are, and remember that they like you, and remember that they potentially want to buy something from you later on in the future. It's a fantastic thing. And it doesn't have to be slimy, right? So I still don't like Dan Henry because he's stalking me around the internet trying to get me to read a book that I have already read. But if I am giving something away of actual value, and it's not a book that I then am forced to pay free shipping or to pay shipping for, then it might actually cultivate that relationship. That's what opt-ins used to be about. It used to be, here, I made something for you and I want you to have it because I actually want you to have it. And then they kind of went to hell because everyone and their brother decided that was the way to get you on an email list so I could then sell, sell, sell. So remember, if we're talking about the relationship and we're talking about the ways in which to cultivate a long-term relationship, because I'm looking at selling someone after the initial 90 days of contact, then I have to build quality relationships. I actually have to care about the people who are buying shit from me, and I have to really want them to benefit from my thing. And if I really want that and am creating products that will help them in positive ways, then I'm going to be able to shorten the gap. And there we go. Ways to shorten the gap. Okay. I have one more spiel today, and it keeps coming up. So if you are not a member of Contessa Cooper's Messages and Mimosas, you should go and join, because I read there every Thursday. The last couple of weeks, when I play with my cards, which happen to be dragons, the dragons have been talking a lot about self-care. And after my live last week talking about building a sanctuary, I wanted to talk a little bit more about what I consider sanctuary best practices, because October and November are going to be really rough months. It's already starting. If things, holy shit, I don't even want to speculate. If things go downhill, if Trump gets sick, I literally, I don't want to ask those kinds of questions. I just have some historical knowledge, maybe too much, to be really comfortable with what's going on in my country right now. And with that in mind, I have decided to really do a number on my internet time. I am being very deliberate about the space that I am making. I am 6 days out from the 6th anniversary of the death of my son. So it better be good, high quality shit right now, because my self-care needs are pretty important right now. With that in mind, we are looking at the space as it is and how we build it and construct it in ways that make us feel comforted and nourished. I am a Cancer, so I'm kind of a homebody and I like being at home. And quarantine has not, well, there are places that I miss going, but ultimately it has just allowed me to refine and build an even better sanctuary. So what I'm looking at now, as we go into the winter months, I'm finally going to be starting my indoor garden. I don't grow well indoors. I have never particularly grown well indoors. I have one very stubborn pothos who's been with me for many years, and that's the only thing I've managed to keep alive indoors. I've even killed the most stubborn palm known to man. It got beat to death by a Dalmatian for years, lived to tell the tale. Briar could not keep it alive. Briar kills peace lilies indoors, and those things tell you when they need to be watered, so I don't really know what my excuse is. Meanwhile, if it's outside, I touch it and it grows very tall, and I'm giving away tomatoes that I've grown in pots. Like, this is, I'm great outside, not so good indoors. And so this fall and winter, one of my goals is to finally figure out how to grow and keep shit alive indoors. I've been planning pretty meticulously what I want to grow, what I'm looking to invest in plant-wise. I also have plans for the winter to start working on gluten-free sourdough baking. Now, these are things that are sanctuary for me, right? Sanctuary is kind of a personal thing. And it's really, really important as you begin the process of crafting sanctuary to figure out specifically what the small and the medium and the high notes are. And by that, I mean, the big things are the absolute non-negotiables, right? I don't have a TV in my bedroom because the blue light keeps me awake at night, and then I don't get enough sleep, and then I don't have the proper sleep hygiene to keep me functional. When we're looking at self-care in general, I think that one of the themes that I keep coming back to is the way in which all of the parts are necessary. You need to have the diet, you need to have the exercise, you need to have the water, you need to have the sleep, you need to have the mental health, you need to have all of the spokes of the wheel, because if you do not, then the whole wheel goes flat. So when we're crafting the sanctuary, we need to look at the top level non-negotiables, but then there's also the medium things. What are meals that you need to have every week, every 2 weeks that are absolutely non-negotiable to plan into your meals so that you feel cared for? What are small things that you can build in? Are there new craft supplies, perhaps? Or it's washi tape for me, if I'm telling the truth. So I have my planners, they're monthly, and every week I go through and add new strips of washi tape. And I am fucking addicted to buying new washi tape every month or so that I can have new seasonal washi tape for, yeah, it's bad. It's bad. All right, y'all. So when we're crafting our sanctuaries, we want to pay really close attention to how we're building them, how we're constructing them, and the ways in which they are enriching us. I also got a question about how to get help to build one, but I'm going to have to come back to that next week as I am over time. Thank you so much for being here. I love and adore you all, and I will talk to you all next Tuesday. See you then. Bye.